What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on? Is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. It is Friday. Some would say Black Friday. A lot of people are not aware what that means, but some say Black Friday. It is Friday, November 29th, 2024, year of our Lord. I am, as usual, working from home because not only is it the holidays, but during this time of year, we decide to go and make some upgrades to the studio. So while those upgrades are taking place, I probably have to go down there as usual and go and check on things, see how construction is taking place. But yeah, man, it is Friday, November 29th, 2024, year of our Lord. And I have a full show planned for you guys. So buckle up, buttercup, and let's get to it. All right. First and foremost, I want to say I thank you guys for continuing to rock with me. This holiday season, I am thankful for you and all of the value that you bring into my life and always hold me down. All right. So let me go ahead and read some of the cash apps and then a super chat, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. So going postal. Again, I appreciate you for holding me down yesterday, Tommy, Mike, that dude, and ESDC. Thank you to everybody that hold us down. All right. And in addition to that, I also want to acknowledge the first super chat of the day, Tori Armstead. Shout out to Tori Armstead. I appreciate you, Tori. Thank you for holding me down also. Last night was real. Same thing tonight. You know what we do Fridays, we get a little bit more off the cuff, so we'll see how that play out. But last night on After Hours was pretty awesome. I had an opportunity to go and chill with my family. Hopefully you guys had peace in your life, whether you was chilling by yourself or chilling with your family. And I want to talk about shopping today. I want to talk about money. I want to deep dive into money. I want to talk about spending a little bit more. And so I expect for that to be the theme of the show. Overspending. Not just overspending for what Kamala Harris did, but overspending in our own lives and how we can then tamp down on what we are spending. So this show, I want to go into what you can expect and how you should move a little bit differently this holiday season. Obviously, we have big donors that is breaking down and highlighting how Kamala Harris spent their money. So we're going to go into that. I also want to deep dive into Elon Musk. Elon Musk is targeting several government agencies. And so we'll discuss whether or not that makes sense as far as him to downsize those agencies or to eliminate them altogether. Quick hits, multiple different things. All right. So we got a full show lined up for y'all today. You know we don't miss. If you are not a part of the Bag Chasers and the Patreon, make sure you get into there in the beginning of the month. So don't do it today. Do it Monday. I think it's Monday. Either Sunday or Monday is the first. Y'all let me know whatever the first is. So the 1st of December, it is the end of the month. So I don't want you guys to jump in and get double billed. I want to make sure that you guys get as much value as possible. So if you did not, or if you don't plan on to paying the entire year, then jump in on Monday. All right. So just rock out with that. It's really, really cheap. I got some insane content, videos, live streams, everything that's coming this holiday season to help you guys get prepared for what's happening next year, but also Stock Club, Block Club, and so many other things, and also documenting some of the things that we started as a project this year that we finished before the end of the year. All right. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Pat Gigatame. He got jokes. He says, hopefully no fights this year. Nah, it was chill. It was slow motion. Everything is good. It's so, my daughter warned me about that before I even went over to my brother's house. My daughter warned me about that, and she said, "Dad, no fights this year, right?" And I said, "Nah, I'm chilling." Dad is sleepy, and I got a live stream tonight. So yeah, we was chilling. Everything went well. Everything went good. I hope y'all holiday season is awesome. Have y'all hit a like on your way in the door as y'all price of admission? Have y'all hit a like? No? Okay, go ahead. Hit the like button. That's your price of admission. If you've been here more than once, then make sure you subscribe to the channel because we do this every Monday on through Friday, regardless of whether it's a work day or a holiday or Black Friday. So we get that in. And make sure you get your tickets December 14th to come and kick it with us in Detroit. I'm looking forward to doing that show. The last show in Atlanta was awesome. Looking forward to the Detroit show. And Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. All right. Y'all ready to go ahead and get started with the show? Sabrina, don't keep forgetting. We good. And shout out to my co-host, the chat. Shout out to the co-host, the chat. The chat always hold me down. So the chat is my co-host for the show. You guys, without you, this is a little bit different. Sometimes, I think 3 times this year, I had to pre-record the show. Twice, maybe 2 times. I think twice this year we had to pre-record the show because we was either on a flight or other obligations. I think one of them was when I went over to Bucharest. And so the pre-recording is cool, but it just ain't the same. It is not the same as just interacting with y'all on a regular basis. So, anyways, let's get it, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. First part of the show is Quick Hits. You know how we do it. So Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to, but we want to keep y'all in the loop of what's going on throughout the United States of America. All right. First things first, a passenger, or I'm sorry, not a passenger, a driver of a Cybertruck wound up killing 3 people, including himself, I believe, in a crash in the Bay Area. Check it out.
We are tracking breaking news in the East Bay. A deadly crash has happened in Piedmont early this morning at Hampton Road and King Avenue. That's where ABC 7 News reporter Gloria Rodriguez is right now. Gloria, what's the latest?
Well, the portion of the road where this happened is blocked off, and police are here investigating. The coroner's office is also here, and we are learning more about what happened. We also have some video to show you. There were 4 people that were in a Tesla Cybertruck, which burst into flames. Piedmont Police Captain Chris Monahan tells me that 3 people died and 1 person was injured in this crash. The person injured is in the hospital right now after crews pulled them from the truck. It all happened around 3 o'clock this morning, and the truck called 911 after the collision. A resident also called, and officers found the truck in flames. Now, it's not clear how fast the truck was going, and the cause of the crash is still not known.
I'm not going to speculate on what I think happened. At this point, we don't know, but the vehicle jumped the curb, struck a cement wall, and then wedged in between the wall and a tree.
And this type of accident is rare in this quiet, upscale residential neighborhood. We still don't know the relationship of everyone in the truck, and we're still working on getting more information about the crash. We're also told a tow truck is expected to be here soon to pull that truck out. Live in Piedmont, Gloria Rodriguez.
So one of the things that I've been able to experience with my truck, because first of all, this is 3 o'clock in the morning. So if I had to guess, all right, if I had to give my most educated guess, at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is one of the reasons that I started Fight Club earlier a couple years ago, then I would say that it's probably a little bit of drunk driving and probably a little bit of reckless driving, okay? The second thing is one of the most incredible features and why I think that this truck and Tesla in general is incredibly futuristic is that their ability, the most recent update, I just updated my truck day before yesterday, is the ability for the truck to drive itself with full supervised driving. So full supervised driving, for those of y'all that's not familiar, because I like both. I like both internal combustion engine vehicles, traditional American vehicles. I like some foreign vehicles, and I also like the technologically advanced. So I like them all, right? And full self-driving supervised, because they haven't released the unsupervised version yet, but full self-driving supervised FSD. Basically, you program where you want to go, and you don't even do anything except pay attention to the road. It has cameras inside of the car that forces you to pay attention to the road. Otherwise, it will completely disable itself, and then you got to take back control of the vehicle. And it lets you know what it's an incredible feature. I mean, honestly, one of the reasons why I like the truck so much, one of the reasons why I love the truck so much is FSD. When I'm leaving here and I decide that I want to go back downtown or I got to go down to the office, I put in the address and I be taking care of business, honestly. The majority of what I be doing is taking care of business. Because the truck is so big and the center console is so big, I could be taking care of business on my laptop. I just completely let the truck control itself. And it's one of the most incredible things that I've ever experienced in my life. It adds so much more time and value in my life for it to have full self-driving. I mean, the thing is crazy. And it's hard to believe that we're living this far into the future, considering all of the technology that's inside of that truck. But it's an awesome feature. And you do have to, I mean, you completely remove yourself and it drives itself completely. But yeah, man, it's an incredible feature. But when you see stuff like this happens, this is probably, and I'm not speculating, but I'm just gonna give my best educated guess, probably drunk driving or reckless driving. It's at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's stupid, it's unfortunate, and it's crazy. So that's what's happening over there in the Bay Area. In other news, there was a man here in Metro Detroit, not Detroit exactly, but outside of Detroit and the surrounding areas, that basically was trying to do a human trafficking thing, and a woman called 911, and then they had to go and arrest him, and now he's facing a $3 million bail. Check it out.
A chilling 911 call.
I was put into a sex trafficking situation.
The victim's voice altered to protect her identity. The call coming from the front desk at Sonesta Suites in Southfield late Thursday night, the hotel located near Losser and Northwestern Highway.
I'm just terrified. I'm beyond terrified.
This is police body cam video of officers arresting the suspected sex trafficker. His 4-year-old son in a nearby room with a female caretaker who investigators believe may also be a victim.
I'm going to jail, right?
Yes.
For what? What's my charge, bro?
Turn around, put your hands together.
I put my jacket on, man.
Yes, I gotta go through it.
All right.
41-year-old Prenentes Mac Orr charged with human trafficking, being held on a $3 million bond. A message from Southfield's police chief.
The city of Southfield pays attention to what goes on in our area. Don't rent your rooms in our city. Let this $3 million bond and these significant charges serve as a warning for conducting these operations in our city.
Orr allegedly met the 32-year-old victim who was homeless at the time in Georgia, where the sex trafficking began, eventually bringing her to Michigan.
The victim stated that the suspect deprived her of food and only allowed her to drink coffee and sea moss, which is described as being used for weight loss.
Forced to perform multiple sex acts with clients on a daily basis, investigators say Orr had complete control over the victim.
The suspect took possession of the victim's identification, cell phone, credit cards, and prohibited her from speaking to anyone.
Telling her he was a gang member or has a criminal record that dates back 25 years. However, police did not find any weapons when they arrested him. And as far as how the victim was able to escape,
she intentionally left the chargers for the phones in the car, knowing that at some point he wouldn't want to go out and get them.
Crazy. Absolutely insane. Listen, y'all trying to hold people against their will is demonic. Pimping is absolutely dead. and using women and using people in order to generate revenue by leveraging their bodies and holding them against their will is absolutely one of the most evil things that I've seen, because using humans to do dirty work like that and profiting off of it, we don't rock with it. So shout out to the city of Southfield. I actually really like Southfield, a suburb just outside of Metro Detroit in Oakland County. Shout out to the police officers over there doing great work. We love you over there. And thank you for rescuing this woman. And then last but not least, AI cameras have been deployed inside of buses in New York City to generate revenue and to also issue tickets. However, a lot of people are getting caught in the crosshairs, and they're actually legally abiding citizens that didn't do anything wrong. Check it out.
A new network of artificial intelligence cameras is on the case, catching New York City motorists who block bus lanes.
And let me also say this, too, before we get into this last story and quick hits. We hold the traffickers accountable, right? But for those people that engage and participate in this act, the Johns, I think that y'all are just as despicable. Because not only are you propping up an economy that shouldn't exist in the first place, and, you know, I know a lot of people, this is a really tough subject, and maybe this is something that we need to tackle on After Hours, but I just never, ever in my life understood going and getting with either a prostitute or somebody that is under duress, that don't know you, don't like you, never met you, and is willing to exchange, or you pay them and then they give the money to some man who has gotten them there and holding them against their will in order for you to get your junk off. I never understood it, and I know that it's there are a lot of people that are willing to spend money on nasty box that everybody else didn't hit, but I've never understood it in my life. I never understood it in my life. I don't get it. I don't even get even women that is doing it on their own will, because this is thing on TikTok called 304 Talk, right? Shouldn't even be telling y'all this. But people send me these videos all the time, and it's this thing on TikTok called 304 Talk, where women are basically using TikTok to promote themselves so that they could sell themselves and be able to exchange their body for money. Now, there's a debate. You know what? Let's make this a conversation on After Hours tonight. Let me write this down. Let me put this in my note. There's a debate that it's the oldest economy and people should be able to sell their bodies and do what they want to do for it. Okay, we'll have that conversation. But me, personally, I don't get it. It is very interesting to me. It is very weird to me. And I'm trying to figure it out. But anyways, neither here nor there. Let's get back to the story.
But an I-team investigation finds that some of those cameras are also catching drivers who are doing absolutely nothing wrong. News 4's Chris Glorioso found hundreds of instances where these AI systems have captured video of legal parking, but called it a violation.
Blink and you might miss them. On the windshields of hundreds of MTA buses, mounted cameras are now searching for vehicles blocking the bus lane. The cameras are powered by artificial intelligence, but driver George Hahn says the AI system isn't smart enough.
This is a normal spot, and it's actually right by the regular alternate side parking sign.
Hahn says last month he got 3 violations on the same day for blocking bus lanes on East 79th Street. But in each case, the videos captured by the bus cameras themselves show he was legally parked right here along with all these other cars.
Well, at first, I wasn't worried because I know the parking rules and these are legal spots. The tickets kept coming, though, so we're up to about 10 now.
Now, a vehicle illegally parked here in the red bus lane is supposed to get a ticket. But here's the problem. That bus lane ends right about here, and these vehicles are parked in legal alternate side spots. And many of the drivers say they're still getting tickets.
They could clearly see on the picture that I'm literally before the line.
You were legal.
I was legally parked. Jonathan Coogee gave us his violation notice, and it also shows his car was not parked in the bus lane. And the I-Team has learned hundreds of other drivers have been served similar mistakes. We showed these images to the MTA, and the transit agency confirmed buses on the M79 and BX35 lines have issued nearly 3,000 violations that should have been simple warnings, and more than 800 violations where there was no infraction at all. An MTA spokesperson said all the mistaken violations are being voided and refunded, writing, "In this situation, there were programming kinks, both in the mapping of curb areas and the timing of the warnings themselves, all of which have now been resolved."
It's pretty hot out here, but the people who are blocking our bus lanes, it's about to get hotter.
So, yeah, man, they need to get that together. Technology glitches. I'm not really sure what's going on over in New York, but ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits. All right. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. It's been about 2 weeks, and I still can't figure out why people thought that they should get paid $300,000 and take days to make clips and thumbnails. Don't get me started. It's called, I can't say greed, but let's just say capitalism. Sometimes you gamble and you say, oh, no, I don't want 120, 110. They say, I want you to pay me $300,000 to stand next to you, but they haven't actually even did anything or proven themselves to be worthy of it. But neither here nor there. That just is what it is. Shout out to Howie Brown with the super sticker. I appreciate you for holding me down. Thank you, Howie. And then also another super sticker from Will 555. Shout out to Will. I appreciate you also. Thank you for supporting the platform. All right, y'all. Let's get into the thick of things and let's get into the show. All right. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the holiday season. Okay. Because it's Black Friday. I know it's a lot of people that's looking to hit the street so that they can spend some money. Everybody a lot of times think that sales make sense. And so let me just give you a little bit of insight of what they're saying as far as the media and what's being promoted with Black Friday, all right?
So you're wrapping up that Thanksgiving feast. So, of course, it's time to start wrapping some presents. Hello, I'm Edward Lawrence in for Neil Cavuto. This is a special Thanksgiving edition of Your World. And Fox, on top of all of what's shaping up to be a record-setting holiday shopping season, jump-starting tomorrow on Black Friday and continuing right through the weekend. To Alexis McAdams in New York with the latest on this. Alexis?
Hey, Edward. So if you can believe it, for everyone watching at home that just finished Thanksgiving dinner, we have less than a month to go until Christmas. And since this is the latest Thanksgiving can even be on the calendar, people are going to hit those stores in full force over the weekend, trying to wrap up their holiday shopping. And this year, the National Retail Federation says people are going to spend even more on gifts. Watch.
We're expecting that consumers will budget around a little over $900 per person for the holiday season, which is about $27 more than they budgeted last year.
So the NRF says this holiday weekend is expected to break shopping records, okay? Big crowds and big money will be spent. For some, it's tradition, and others say they just want to get an early start, cashing in on those deals that some say sound almost too good to be true. You see them online, you know what I'm talking about. According to this group, more than 131 million people are planning to shop on Black Friday. That's a big number. That's 65% of people shopping in the store. They say more than 183 million people will shop over the next 5 days. After Black Friday, Cyber Monday is the most popular day for shopping.
Today's shopper truly does embrace multiple ways of shopping throughout the season. Certainly consumers head online, but many consumers like to see those gift items in person. You want to make sure that it looks like you're expecting.
So many stores are opening early on Black Friday. We're talking about 5 o'clock in the morning for people who want to hit Kohl's, Bass Pro Shop, JCPenney, Cabela's, you name it. You can also hit Macy's, Best Buy, Target, and Walmart if you're looking for those stores just about an hour later. So start bright and early before those big crowds show up. Since there's only 17 shipping days between Black Friday and Christmas Eve, this could present some unique challenges, we're told by UPS, for sending those gifts by mail or some of those online orders. So make sure you try to order early, and then you can check your tracking information, which I seem to do over and over again, right, until it gets there. Send it back.
So while people are hitting the stores and that all of this shopping and all of this other stuff, right, let me say this, because I wanted to start this show off a little bit differently. Because usually we started off with something political, or I give y'all an update on what's going on with tariffs, or, you know, what's happening with Trump or Kamala Harris or the incoming administration and stuff like that. But let me start off by saying this. Do not find yourself out here Black Friday shopping and then asking me for a coaching call come January. Do not find yourself out here Black Friday shopping and then asking me for a coaching call come January. Because we've been doing the Millionaire Morning Show and I've been on YouTube and content creating for too long. And some of y'all have not just discovered me. You've been around for a long time. And so you know what my philosophy is. The first thing that I've always been saying to people is F your feelings. But we're going to move away from that because we're evolving. The second thing that I'm going to tell you is be selfish before you can be selfless. Be selfish before you can be selfless. You cannot pour out of an empty cup. And more importantly, stop spending money to impress people that do not care anything about you. I will guarantee you that 95, 96, 97% of the gifts that you gave last year have already been forgotten about. But all the way up until August, September, October, November, y'all still paying that stuff off. And you've paid more than what you're supposed to pay for it because you're paying interest on whatever it is that you purchased. Some of y'all think that Klarna and Afterpay and people are too good because they ain't never used it before. I've never used Klarna. I've never used Afterpay. I do not plan on using my resources to make people happy when they've already known me for the last 42 years. What we doing? The holidays is about spending time with family, readjusting what your cultural norms are so you can go into the new year running, to get a fresh new start, to show appreciation of the people and the things and how you're blessed and the fact that you're in the United States of America, to regroup after we've already had this election, and then more importantly, to hopefully show appreciation by participating in helping other people, and it don't even have to be financially, by volunteering your time, especially when it get cold outside, for those that are less fortunate. It is not supposed to be so that we can help retailers get into the black. That's the whole idea of Black Friday. Black Friday means that retailers then go into the black because they've been operating in the red the entire year. And so they finally are supposed to turn profitable because they know that people can't help themselves by shopping. We got this shopping, this consumer bug that we think we're entitled to. And you have to spend all of this money. And you know what the most interesting part about that is? It's always the people that are already in debt that spend the most money, and then they will sit there and complain about whoever it is that's in office that they can't afford their lifestyle anymore. And I will absolutely give you the fact that the economy and inflation and the cost of living is high. It is. It is high. But you can also turn off all of those self-inflicted wounds that you keep on embracing that then puts you in this position where you cannot, and you will not take advantage of the opportunities that's in front of you. Think about it like this, because we've had this conversation a lot, and people have this conversation all the time, and then they say, you know what, you need to stop spending, slow down your spending so you can make better adjustments. And then I always get people that then send me messages or they ask me questions and they say, Anton, is it best that I pay off the debt first or should I invest? Anton, is it best that I pay off the debt first or should I invest? I don't want to miss out on this investment opportunity. Is it best that you walk outside or put your shoes on first? Is it best that you walk outside in the cold with the snow on the gravel and jump on and then go to work, or should you put your shoes on first? I'm just asking. Because y'all are asking me questions that fundamentally just don't make sense. I know what I'm losing if I decide that I want to hold on to this debt and pay interest on it every single month. But we've been programmed to think that it's okay because some debt is good debt. If that's not an oxymoron, I don't know what is. Even me, and I always like to be an example of the thing that I advocate for. For the income that I make, my lifestyle is very, very much pedestrian. Like, I understand and I very much, am thankful for the blessings and the hard work that I put in and the opportunity that God has given me. And so I take advantage of it and make sure I make the best of it. But when the money come in for the type of revenue that I have and the type of money that I make, y'all living better lifestyles than me based off of what I see. I mean, honestly, I be thinking to myself and I be so confused because I see people sometime and they be like, yeah, man, I make 6 figures, I make 120, I make 150. They may even say that they make $200,000 a year. And that is phenomenal. And congratulations. And I think that that's awesome. And then they be having the bigger houses and better cars. And they take vacations all of the time. And I'll be sitting there and I'll be talking to Rhea and I'll be like, are we doing something wrong? Is something off here? Or is everybody balling? And then I'll get the consumer reports, or I'll see the amount of people that's getting evicted out of their home, or I'll see that credit card debt is exploding and is headed towards $2 trillion collectively amongst consumers. And I say, that makes sense. Honest to God. Look, I be chilling. My spaces are commensurate for whatever my lifestyle is. It's me, Rita, and Leslie. And then we have some people that we entertain or whatever, but we got spaces separate for that. And so it's like, okay, so it's just us three. How much room do we need to occupy rooms that we not even going to use? And so I pare down my lifestyle and then I start to spend my money. I spend 90% of my income on investing and making sure that, long term, everything is great. And then I take the profits from my investments and then I separate it. I compound it back. So about 75% goes back into reinvesting because that's how you get really, really rich. And then the other 25%, we go and have fun with it. And so that's the thing that we use in order to take the vacations, which really those is business expense because those ain't even vacations. And then we also, buy our cars or whatever like that. Everybody else, they got these 4,000, 5,000 square foot homes and stuff. They be taking these vacations. They be living this lavish lifestyle. And listen, if you can afford it, you getting it like that, cool. Then you find out somebody got a PPP loan or somebody is out there, they finessing or, they didn't finance their lifestyles to the hilt and they bleeding out of their eyeballs in debt. For what? That's stress. That's stress. That ain't nothing but stress. That is high stress that you don't need. And I think that the best thing for you to do is to remove all of the barriers, and you don't know what it feels like to wake up in the morning, the best feeling in the world. The best feeling in the world. And I'm not telling you that you got to live like a pauper, but I think that we need to reassess what we think makes sense when it comes to finances. The best feeling in the world is waking up and knowing that if I decided tomorrow that I didn't want to do anything, nothing changes in my life. Because no credit card company is going to come for me. No finance company for a car is going to come for me. Nobody can come and say, hey, I'm going to take your house away. No mortgage company can come and tap on my door and say, hey, man, we calling in that mortgage because we got a financial crisis coming in. Nobody. At the end of the day, no matter what, the best feeling in the world as a man, let me break it down from a man's perspective. The best feeling in the world is to know, God forbid, if anything was to happen to me tomorrow, the people that I love, their life is going to be fine. And they don't have to have a fish fry. And they don't have to worry about paying a mortgage. And they don't have to worry about if the cars is going to get repossessed. And they don't have to worry about if my daughter is going to be able to go to college. That for me is peace, because everything else after that is money on the board. That's extra. We're not even at the starting line sitting here talking about we got 30-year mortgages. That's not the starting line. We're not even at the starting line talking about we got 30-year mortgages. We have to change our mindset. And you don't have to get a big house in order to do it. I would advise people to then buy the house that makes sense, that allows for you to be able to survive and do things okay. Pay that off once you remove yourself from all of the debts, and then you have your kids, they colleges is funded, and everything is paid off, and then you start to have some money and you building up an investment portfolio. Then you can start to upgrade. You don't have to start off right out the gate trying to impress everybody. Don't nobody even care nothing about you. They got to go home to their own situations that may not even be ideal for them. You up in here listening to people on the internet criticize you about making good financial and fiscal decisions, and they going home and they broke. The data and the statistics tell me that if people is on the internet criticizing me for making smart financial decisions and not showing money, that the people, statistically speaking, that are criticizing it are way, way far behind me. The internet says, and the data says, on the actual census and the income-driven information that is given to me on a regular basis that I can go and source, says that the average household income combined with everybody in it is around $70,000 a year. Very few people on this earth have room to criticize anybody because they got to get the beam out of their own eye. If you have a car note, and there's nothing wrong with you getting your car paid off, you have zero room to criticize anybody. You got to get that car paid off. If you got credit card debt, you have zero room to have a conversation about financial literacy. You need to go and get that paid off. If your son or your daughter is not in a position to where when they fill out that FAFSA, that their entire college is going to be paid off either by the grant money, and then in addition to that, you got money put up just in case that grant money don't come through or they can't get financial aid, and then you can make sure that you pay off their college college, and so they don't have no student loans. If you can't put your kid through college, even if they decide that they don't want to go eventually, if you don't have the ability to be able to pay off your kid's college, then you have no room to be sitting here having a conversation with anybody about what they should be doing with their money. You should be asking questions on how the person got there instead of having conversations on whether or not they got it. The only people that should be having conversations about money is the people that actually has achieved a level that they can then give information on how they did it, not how they doing it. Now, if you documenting the journey and you saying, hey, this is my situation and this is what I'm going through and this is how I'm going to do it, cool. I have no problem with that. Everybody got an opinion. Opinions is like buttholes. Everybody got one. However, when it comes to giving advice on how people should be successful or criticizing people and having a conversation about what people should and shouldn't do, remove yourself from that conversation, because there are few people on this earth from a percentage perspective of the population that is built to be able to have that conversation. Cut down the holiday spending, chill out, stop spending money on things that don't mean anything. And guess what? When you say no, or when you say, I'm not participating this year, I'm not in a position to be able to do that, I got bigger things, and that don't even mean that you broke. You saying that I'm not participating and spending a bunch of money to impress people that don't care nothing about you does not mean that you're broke. What it means is that you're making better financial decisions for your future, for your mental health, because let's be clear, being broke is a mental health issue. They want to talk about ADHD. They want to talk about not being able to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Therapy, relationships. Being broke is a mental health issue. Men that are in relationships with a good woman that ain't got no money, he's stressed. A man that is not in a relationship that is financially sound, he free. He think different. You know why? Because at any point he can make an adjustment and he can go and get a woman, but you can't go and just absolve yourself of your credit card debt and you can't get rid of that issue that you got financially. You can't just walk outside and determine that you want to get a high paying job and then pay off your debt immediately, but he can go and get a woman tomorrow. Being broke is a mental health issue. People do egregious things because they are in a bad financial state. They are willing to do things that they willing to consider doing anything and everything. You know why women sell their bodies? We was just talking about it as far as the last quick hits. You know why women sell their bodies? Do you think that any woman that was in a great financial state would be sitting here talking about, I am about to be a hoe on TikTok and advertise myself on a new version of Backpage? She not doing that because it's fun. She doing it because she got mental health issues, and it start with this. It ain't just because her daddy was doing stuff to her or all of that. That's true too. It's because it is. She ain't trying to be out here slanging butt. That's a mental health issue. Being broke is demonic. Being broke is demonic because it then causes you to do things that you otherwise would not do had you had resources. Very few people on this earth has room to sit here and pocket watch. Very few people on this earth have room to be pocket watching. Real talk. I'm gonna give you the real. Very few people. I wear an Apple Watch because I want to. It tracks my steps and my calories. I prefer to wear my Apple Watch when I'm at home and I'm milling around and all of that. But then I'll see somebody online, why you got on an Apple Watch? Because I like my Apple Watch. But I have choices. I have options. I would like for you to have choices and to have options. I don't want you out here dusty. I don't want you out here tricking off trying to impress people that don't care nothing about you when you can't really afford to do so. I don't want you out here holiday spending and knowing that you're going to be stressed out next week. You planning on when you're going to get your next paycheck so you can make a payment plan towards something. Man, that ain't no way to live. Make a short-term sacrifice so you can have a long-term success plan. And then you break out. And once you break out, I'm telling you, it's off to the races. Because then it's going to be the reverse of what you've been experiencing. The same way that it costs you so much money and interest to continue to try to pay off and support a lifestyle is how it operates on a reverse. It's a reverse. So now you're compounding the monies that you're making, and you making money in your sleep. You making money on top of money. You just sitting there chilling. You sitting there chilling. Real talk. You just letting the money roll on over. So it's a different mindset. We got to have a different mindset. We got to do things a little bit differently. And we got to make better decisions. Don't sit here and get caught up thinking that it makes sense and then putting your trauma on everybody else because you're in a bad situation. By then, and just this last part, just 30 seconds. For those of y'all that always say, oh, you just in a privileged position. Oh, that ain't everybody's situation. Listen, man, if you looking to just be dusty for the rest of your life, this ain't the place for you. If you are looking for a group of people that are looking forward to being very much middle, then this is not the place for you. What we do is we add value, we entertain, we put the medicine inside of the candy, and we push each other because I want the best for you. If you are looking to be middle of the road, if you are looking to be solidly middle class, if you are looking to be average, if you are looking for somebody to join in on your dusty parade, this is not the place for you. There are plenty of people out there that could dust stream with you. This is not the dust stream. This is a stream where we try to add value in each other's lives. We leapfrog off of each other's information in order to make better decisions, and we hold each other accountable, and we encourage each other to do the best thing that's in our future. This is not the dust stream. If you're looking for dust streams, it's 99% of them out there are dust streams. Everybody got a microphone. Very few people can give you information, can show you the receipts. All right? Okay. All right, Pumpkin. Let's continue on with the show. Let me read some of these super chats, and then let's move on. Let's get into the real aspect of the show. Will 555, shout out to you for the super chat. I appreciate you for the super sticker. Kristen, the cold man, says, I'm finally a chaser. Shout out to all of the chasers. Welcome. The Magnum Group Vibes Lounge says, shout out to the chasers. Just bought a radar detector as an investment in my future self. Elon Musk. Abe the Hunter says, invest in yourself and stay down until you come up with a solution. Also may be hard to believe, but God has given everybody an ability. I agree. High Tolerance says, morning AD, had a convo with a worker who does custom home interior work about M's more concerned about quantity over quality, and they're undercutting the market. I told him, remember when Donald J. Trump was talking about the black jobs? Shout out to you. Ziggy says, during the Trump campaign, I restarted investing 10% of what I make every day into stocks, bonds, and ETFs. Now I'm up 117% versus last year. Now, the question that you got to ask yourself is, how can I increase it from 10 to 20%? That should be the goal going into the new year. Shout out to you. Salute. That's dope. Sia says, the reason The View won't go off air is because that show is used to make black women look dumb. Whoopi and Sonny and the Latina woman say the dumbest stuff. P. Shank goes on to say, morning AD in the Millionaire Morning Show. What up, P. Shank? Morning AD needed to hear that one. Thanks and blessings. Shout out to Sean S. Now, when that gets clipped up and then we start to put that out there, watch how many dusty people comment on it. Moving on. Let's get into Kamala Harris. Mega donor from Morgan & Morgan went on Fox News, so he didn't just go on Chris Cuomo. He also went on Fox News, and then he went back on Chris Cuomo to have a conversation about Kamala Harris and whether or not she'll ever be able to run again. I will admit I am one of the people that said that I anticipated her being a Christmas gift and making sure that the Republicans stay in party in 2028 and 2026 and her running for president of the United States of America again. But now I'm not so sure after people like this are saying what they're saying. Check it out.
John Morgan is the founder of Morgan & Morgan and a former major Democratic donor. John, I was thrilled to have you tonight, and I wanted you to react to this. This was reporting out of Politico about what Kamala Harris was doing in Hawaii. Privately, the vice president has been instructing advisors and allies to keep her options open, whether for a possible 2028 presidential run or even to run as governor in the state of California in 2 years, as Harris has repeated in phone calls, I am staying in the fight. Your reaction to that?
Well, my reaction is, she thinks she's Obama. She goes to Hawaii because Obama goes to Hawaii. She started talking like Obama, imitating Obama. She is not Barack Obama. She has no talent. She can never run for president again.
Jesus.
She ran once and got 0 delegates. She got 8% of California. I begged them not to put her up. She was going to be tethered to Biden no matter what. That was a zero-sum game for her. But she thought that all these votes were for her. They were not. The votes that she got were people voting against Trump, and the votes that Trump got were the people voting for Trump. What the Harris campaign should have done, instead of avoiding Joe Rogan and podcasts, it turns out that Barron Trump, who looks like a runway model, was telling his father, you need to go on podcasts. You need to go on Joe Rogan. He was 3 hours late to a rally because he was doing Joe Rogan because that was so important. So Barron Trump is a lot smarter than everybody in the Harris. They said they didn't go on Joe Rogan, the progressives around her. You heard what Carville said. The progressives didn't want to go on Joe Rogan. Look, if I'm running, I'm going on Joe Rogan. I'm living on Fox. That's how you change minds. They played hide the ball. They lost badly. She should go away and never, ever come back. She spent almost $2 billion. They're raising money this week to pay off the debt. If you can't run your campaign, you damn sure can't run the country.
If that isn't one of the most scathing reality checks within the Democratic Party from a heavy Democratic donor, I don't know what is. And that is true. That when you start to, and I've been looking at a lot of Kamala Harris campaign staffers and top aides and, you know, people that's run her Instagram and her TikTok and all of that, and they've been talking about what they got going wrong and how they should have did things differently and what was really happening inside of the camp and all of that stuff. When you pay attention to some of that stuff that's happening and what's being communicated, and the fact that Barron Trump on the low hasn't even been visible, hasn't talked or anything, but people are basically saying that he was the person that was advising his father on how he should move when it came to picking and choosing where he was going to spend his time. He was right. He was absolutely right. And this is why you can't always just go based off of experience. You got to have that instinct. You got to have that thing in you that pay attention to certain people that add value into your life. I will tell you personally, and I mention this all the time and I always talk about it, that one of the most meaningful people that I always check in with, and not because, you know, I'm just so great or whatever like that, but because she 100% has a pulse, a hand on the pulse of every single thing that's meaningful in my life, is my daughter. My 16-year-old daughter is a person that I regularly check in with, and I'll be like, hey, let me run something by you really quickly. What do you think about this? And she is so brutally honest, and she just tells me what her thoughts are. And I'm telling you, 10 times out of 10, she is 100% accurate. Hey, so let me run something by you real quick. So everybody been telling me this, but I want to get your thoughts on it. Tell me what you think and be honest with me. Does this make sense? What would you do, or how do you see this? She'd be like, Dad, don't listen to that. This is gonna mess up. That's gonna mess up. Listen, if you're gonna do it, do this way, do it that way, or whatever, so on and so forth. And I'll be like, and she talked to me, and she breaks it down very simply, and she just a straight shooter, and she tells me the truth, and every single time it works. Every single time. She'll be like, and sometimes she'll be like, let me think about that for a second. She go in her room, she think about it, she come out 15 minutes later, she's like, yeah, this one is the one that you want to go with, because this is why it makes sense. And she'll add the context and explain it. And I'll sit on it and I'll be like, yep, I'm rolling with that. Got all these other people around and all of that, and they saying all of this stuff every single time. Every time I have to make a major decision, I always check on my daughter and I say, what do you think about this? Let me run this by you real quick. Own it. Own it, own it, own it. And sometimes you don't need a whole team of advisors that's getting paid a bunch of money that want to keep their job. You just need somebody that authentically wants the best for you to tell you the truth, that also has a pulse on what's happening out here in these streets. Every time. And he's right. He's right. Barron Trump, whereas Kamala Harris's whole team was saying, don't do it, don't do this. She absolutely made the wrong missteps. Went over there on All the Smoke, went on Shannon Sharp, killed their podcast. And then meanwhile, Donald Trump was 3 hours late to a rally because he was sitting there talking to Joe Rogan, which was one of the most meaningful things that he did during his campaign.
John, that is the most honest assessment, and I think the most accurate one I've heard from a Democrat so far. And I'm curious for you, as you move forward as a party, who's the future of your party?
Well, somebody says, why does Anton depend on Fox News for his information? Interesting. Apparently you must be new here, because I use everything. I use MSNBC. I use local news stations. I use CNN. I reference different things. I go in and I do my own research, but I use these as reference points to jump off certain conversations because these are the things that's popular and these are the things that's being communicated in popular culture. So apparently you knew here because we use everything. We use CNBC, we use Fox Business, we use Fox News, we use CNN, we use MSNBC, we use local news TV stations, we use News Nation, we use everything, any piece of information that we use Politico, we use Yahoo Finance, we use Bloomberg, we use every single thing, Market Watch, anything that we can get our hands on that then forces us to do a little bit more research and then leapfrog off of that information in order to have an opinion is absolutely what we use. And so if this man is a mega donor and I did research on who he is, and he is a mega donor, and he went on News Nation and he went on Chris Cuomo, and then he goes on Fox News and he's communicating what he's saying and what's happening at the White House after Kamala Harris's loss and what was happening within the campaign. 100% I'm going to use him as a source. I don't care what channel that he's on. Don't focus so much on that. Focus on what we having a conversation about. That's how easy y'all get finessed. Don't focus on that. Focus on what we talking about, okay?
My future, look, I'm a Bill Clinton Democrat. And each year that's gone by, I've been pushed further and further and further out. The squad, defund the police, woke, it pushes people like me. I am not a democratic socialist. I was a Democrat with a capital C, capitalist. And I now am a registered independent because I cannot abide that business. And look, I love Joe Biden. I think he did a great job. If you look at the record, I know a lot of you all disagree, but objectively, I think history is going to be good to him. But Joe Biden is the end of my line with Democrats because of the Harrises of this world and the progressives pushing her to not go on Joe Rogan. That's where she should have been. Just where Barron Trump told his dad to go and all the other podcasts. So that's where I am today. I'm more for people than party. In Florida, I ran 2 amendments. I legalized medical marijuana and I raised the minimum wage. Had to get 60% of the vote. We did. You know why? Most of us agree on most things when you take the DNR down. So I would say to the squad and the defund the police crowd, mission accomplished. I'm out.
That is the absolute worst thing that you could ever do to people that support your party is to alienate them so much with agendas that your big donors and your biggest supporters say, you know what, this is not the part. This is, honestly, to be honest with you, forget the big donor part. I believe this is what happened to most people that were a part of the Democratic Party. If they hadn't been so left, far-reaching left, they then have a stronger base because the reality is that even people that supported the Democratic Party, they say, this is not the party that my parents was in. This is not the party that my grandparents are in. Most of us agree on certain things, but then when we become so far removed, when the agenda becomes so much that we hate what the current version of Republican Party is, that we now support men going in women's bathrooms, we now support illegal immigration, I see Democrats remain completely silent when it comes to immigration. That is not something that's supposed to be divisive across party lines. It's supposed to be something that we all agree on. Okay, listen, you got the border shored up. We got the border shored up. All right, listen, we may differ on certain political agendas or certain things when it comes to the division between Democrats and Republicans, but this is not one of them. I mean, I think that most Democrats are supposed to agree. Yeah, man, we don't want our borders open to anybody just walking in. We want people to be able to come in here legally so that they can be vetted and we can make sure that we get the right people here and get the best and brightest. It's not that Republicans are against migrants coming into the country. They're against illegal immigration. That shouldn't be something that should be a party line issue. You see what I'm saying? It's like they become so extreme that they basically are pushing people out of their own party. Even people that traditionally supported Democrats is like, you know what? You're forcing me to you're forcing my hand. Because Democrats are capitalists too. Democrats are capitalists also. What do you mean defund the police? Why would you be saying defund the police? That is the dumbest. And then everybody else jumped on board because it was a good slogan or it sounded good rolling off your tongue. Defund the police. What? Why would I want crime in my area? That's the very thing that I grew up trying to get away from. That sounds dumb. And then you got these idiots that's out here painting the streets so they never paid any taxes to make sure that the streets is getting paved in the first place, painting Black Lives Matters on the streets. They politicized everything. And so ultimately, they pushed away their core base, not just the mega donors, but also the people that was out here supporting you that is not extreme left. I'm sorry, sir. I think you should be able to do what you want to do inside of your own bedroom, inside of your own household. Bust it down. Have a poly relationship. Be with man and woman. I may not necessarily agree with you, but I'm not going to go against your fundamental right and freedom. Why you got to come in the girls' bathrooms too? It's almost like you give them an inch and they took a mile. This is what happened to Democrats, and this is the honest to God truth. You gave them an inch, and then they kicked in your door. You said, all right, so listen, fam, I give you something to eat. And then they followed you home. They kicked in your door. And then they robbed you and said, this is our house now. We squatting here. Okay, so cool. Have sex with who you want to have sex with. Date who you want to date. Kiss who you want to kiss. We don't care. But why are you putting it inside of our books? Why are we using taxpayer dollars to fund gender affirmation changes inside of the prisons? Why would we fund gender sex changes on taxpayer dime for prisoners? Are y'all stupid? What are you doing? Why would you go so extreme? And again, I don't even have anything against Democrats. I have everything against the Democratic plantation and party because I understand that people have different reasons for why they vote. And your circumstances may be different than my circumstances, and your state may be different than my state. But why are we using taxpayer dollars to put illegal migrants inside of hotels and then making sure that our cities are basically going broke to do so? That is a luxury. That is not something that we're supposed to do. Why would you give them food stamps and cards and allow for them to come over here unvetted illegally? And then they killing American citizens and then they using taxpayer dollars to do it, but your city is going into a deficit. How can you justify that? You didn't realize that that was going to be one of the upendings of your whole campaign, that we was going to bring that up once election season came up? Are you stupid? And it's like they've alienated everybody to the point to where they basically just killed the party. They killed the party. It's like even people that are hardcore Democrats was like, yeah, I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to go against my candidate. But yeah, that's a little rough. That's a little rough. Yeah, you know what? Well, I don't know why why they taking our money and giving it to illegal migrants? Why they paying in California? Why would they spend $600,000 per unit for permanent homeless housing? Why would they spend $185 million on Skid Row? That don't make no sense. That's stupid. It's like, what are y'all doing? I don't understand it. Eric D say no to party. No, I don't think so. I don't think so, Eric D. They don't have anything to run on. They don't have anything to run on. The only people that still vote Democrat largely is doing it because that's just what they used to doing, not because they actually stand. I don't think that most Democrats stand for most of the issues that you think that they stand for. I don't think that they have anything else to run on. Every single issue that they standing on is dumb. It's dumb. It's too many holes in the argument. It's too many flaws. It's dumb. I don't think that they can regroup. I don't. I think that over the next 20 years, it's over for them. We about to go on a 20-year run to fix this country. And I ain't even just talking about financially. I'm talking about to fix the mindset of this country. It's like, are y'all stupid? It's the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. Let me read a couple of these super chats and then we're going to go on from there. Good morning, sir. Do you have a list of books you always recommend for us to read? Also, I joined your Patreon on November 1st, but I haven't had time to get into it because I've been working. What? You ain't been getting into the videos in the Patreon? Oh, no. Well, if you ain't got no time to get into the videos, how you going to have time to get into the books? I don't know. Right off the top of my head, I think that most men should read Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life and You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Those are fundamental books. I also think that most people should also read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a start. A couple other books that should get you started is The Alchemist and The Richest Man in Babylon. Move over to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then you start to evolve over to Buffettology. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Napoleon Hill. Random Walk Down Wall Street. That's a 600, 700 page book though. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So those are just a few to get you started. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, the Ghetto Blurred. Shout out to you. Anwar Williams says, that's like deciding which pharmacy to go and get meds. CVS down the street, but you loyal to Walgreens. Medicine versus candy, Anton. Now, independent media like you and Rogan is taking over. I agree. Shout out to Anwar Williams. GOAT, says A.R. Smitty. The Democrats do identify the donkeys, or is that a donkey? Okay. It was meant to play out like this. Yeah, I see. It's like we recentering. They thought that the alphabet community support was enough, so they didn't care about black votes anymore. They only catered to the organization and women liberals. Abe the Hunter says, I hear a lot of people talking about getting rid of the FBI, for example. Isn't that like defund the police? Who would do their duties? Thoughts? We're going to get into that. And so towards the end of the show, Elon Musk is talking about different agencies that probably need to go away. So we're going to get into that. I don't want to be premature and talk about it. Aaron L. says, she got to be the worst candidate ever. Let's be real. If folks didn't vote against Trump, they had to vote for her. She probably would have lost worse than a Reagan Mondale. Shout out to Aaron L. I appreciate you, bro. Elizabeth. Shout out to Elizabeth says they don't care, plain and simple. They just don't care. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate everybody that support the platform. Let's move over. I want to revisit this conversation. I haven't talked about it on the Millionaire Morning Show, but Angela Rye, right? Because Angela Rye, in my opinion, is a reflection of what we see happening from an extreme perspective in the Democratic Party. So I want to go over to this question, but I'm going to preface it because I haven't actually seen what he said, the guy in the red pink hoodie, prior to Angela Rye crying about what they should do. So let me go back a little bit and see where this question came from that caused her to cry.
Guys, it's Dawn from Houston, Texas, and I just finished your episode, the first one, post-election, that I have been frantically waiting on, if I'm being honest. And in response to your question on whether or not you guys should continue the podcast, to put it bluntly, because I've already made 2 videos that are too long, absolutely, hell yes. We need you. We need the information. We need the sensitivity to us, to our culture, to our people. And your work that you've done even before this podcast and that you continue to do through it is going to be instrumental for those of us who are not interested in watching cable news, who don't trust the mainstream media anymore, who want to know the truth about what is happening around us and in our politics. I have shared you guys with so many people, so many young people who just don't have any interest in politics, and they've gotten hooked. Regardless if you reach the quote-unquote masses, the community that is here needs you, and we are fairly or unfairly going to lean on you guys for that explanation, for that guide, for that conversation that is downright uncomfortable at times.
Wow.
So I'm guessing that the whole premise behind Angela Rye breaking down, and we're going to get to her in a minute, was they are trying to determine what is the future of their podcast. And I guess the name of the podcast is called Native Land Pod. I don't know where they got that name from. It's pretty weird. But a lot of podcasters are rethinking the amount of time that they're putting into this podcasting space because they don't think that it's bearing fruit. May not necessarily be bearing financial fruit. I can't speak to that because I don't actually break down their numbers or anything like that. And I don't know what their sponsorships are or anything. May not necessarily be bearing financial fruit. and may not necessarily also be fruitful as far as engaging or getting any results as far as the things that they talk about that's meaningful to them. Now, first things first, before we get into his assessment, is I still don't understand why people alienate themselves to their audience and their demographic. Financially and from a business perspective, it is the dumbest thing that I've ever seen myself. When I was listening to this woman talk, she was saying to our people and our community, do y'all want to just separate yourselves? Hey, black people, just in general, do y'all want to separate yourselves to where you want to remove the whole world from supporting you? Because I have a hard time believing that that's true. I believe that y'all also want dollars and attention and visibility, and you want to use the systems and the infrastructure that's in place that didn't necessarily get built by you, such as the internet, such as YouTube, such as TikTok, such as Instagram, such as X, such as Blue Sky, whatever platforms that y'all want to use. It's so funny because it's so fake and hypocritical. You want to divest yourself from the rest of the world, but you're using the same systems and the infrastructure that wasn't necessarily built by you to get your word out and to have your podcast and to have these conversations. You sit on city streets with taxes that you didn't pay. You start your business, you rent out space from somebody that don't look like you in order to have your brick and mortar store. You go and buy all of your products from out there on Amazon and Temu to resell, and then you act like you're a black-owned business and you only do business with black people, and then you alienate yourself like an idiot and market yourself to a small demographic of people that's only a small percentage of the population that may or may not even see you, while also using these all other platforms to market yourself to them. It makes no sense. Stop acting like you independent. Stop acting like you don't want to be a part of America. Stop acting like you don't want other people to participate and support your platforms. Everything you do, you're using other people to do it. Why are we sitting here talking about you acting like you don't want no friends that don't look like you? I only need to be amongst the community and the community. No, we all love and need each other. We all take from each other. We all use each other. Hopefully we don't misuse each other. Stop acting like you using something and you doing something unique. The very shirt that you got on your back wasn't even made by anybody that looked like you. Stop it. We all friends, we all family, we all get into it, we all use each other. We all have to leverage different platforms and different things from people that we don't even know that's invested in it and put this thing together for you to even be able to get your message out to the people that you want to reach. Stop. Stop. All right? So let's get into what he got to say.
Y'all, I think, as you know, that's a sampling of the many, 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 not to mention the written form comments that have come in. And what resonates with me, and I'm going to toss it over to you, Angela,
you know what? This is all fake right away. You know what I don't like? I hate when people sit there. I'm going to get to him. I hate when people sit there and they be like, oh, what do you guys want us to do? Should we just end the pod? Is this over? You know, it just doesn't make sense because the message is not reaching the people. Let me tell you why people end their podcast. Because they're not making the money that they thought that they was going to make, and they're not growing the way that they're going to grow. I can't stand these fake people because, listen, you can do more than one thing at the same time. So you can sit here and you can say, you know what? I do want to give a positive message. I do want to help people. I do want to sell healthy food. I do want to reach out to people. I do want to do this, and I want to be rewarded and compensated fairly for it. These fake, I only want to do this because I love y'all and this ain't even about money. This is about reaching out to the people. Stop, bro. If anybody kills their platform or they kill their podcast, is because they're no longer relevant. They're not getting the traction. They may not be growing, or it may not be worth the effort for them to continue to stand it up because they didn't realize the amount of work that goes into it. Or you gaslighting people when you acting like, man, should I kill it? Oh, man. You know what? I don't think people appreciate what we doing. Either you're gaslighting or you're broke. One or the other. Stop it, bro. So let me go ahead and get to this gaslighting.
Was the obligation part of it. I actually, you know how they say in church, you can say amen or ouch.
Who got caught in the hotel room with a dude? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Leslie, what are you talking about? Who is Andrew? Is this guy's name Andrew Gilliam? Andrew Gilliam? All right.
Amen. And an ouch in response to that. But I received that appointment, which is you can't bring folks to a certain place and then all of a sudden, like, oh, okay, you got this because, I can't take this kind of stuff right now.
I didn't know that.
There's an obligatory, component to this. But I'd love to hear what's been moving through your mind.
Is that what y'all saying? Leslie, you're going to have to substantiate that. I don't want no accusations out here. He got caught in a hotel with a dude? Oh, Leslie, come on, Les. Don't tell me that. Why y'all doing this? Seriously? I didn't know that. Okay, all right. Let's continue. Y'all, this is why the chat is my co-host. This is why the chat is my co-host. Because now y'all giving me insight. Okay, now it makes sense. Now it's all starting to come. Because I know that Angela Rye used to date Common. Right? Somebody told me that Angela Rye used to date Common. I didn't know nothing about it. I did not know anything about it. I didn't know anything about this at all.
Hey, Rye.
I'm very emotional.
I'm not about to look at no pictures. Listen, we gonna stay on point. We gonna stay on task. I don't want to get into that. Let's focus.
I think that.
And he had a whole wife.
I
and
feel
kids.
the obligation.
I reported on him years ago, Azriel. How did I report on him years ago? Hold on. What? He was called Naked High with a trans. Oh, Jerry. Hold on. Y'all serious? What? Eric D, the pictures was all over the web? All right. Y'all said, because he looked different now. Okay. All right. You said I did report on him, but he looks different now. Okay. All right. They need some different co-hosts. I didn't know all of this. I'm learning this I'm learning this as I go. I did not know all of this. I am new, and sometimes I do so many different news stories and so many different reports that I don't necessarily capture everything. All right, let's get it.
I feel
hair
frustrated.
Back there.
Honestly, with myself, because I spent so much time
all nuts
over the last couple of weeks just focusing on the half that I hate right now, like the half of the country that I despise. And I'm frustrated about that because
we're not gonna hold them accountable. Let me rewind and let Angela Rye get her hate tears off. Listen, I don't want to hold him. Maybe he's different. Maybe he has a completely different life. Maybe he gave his life over to Jesus. Maybe he's different. We're not going to hold that above him. We're gonna focus. That is a crazy story. We're going to focus 100% of our energy on what's being communicated and not whether or not he was in a hotel room in a Roach Motel with a white man doing bomb powder on his face. So listen, we don't care about that. They said, welcome to the Derailment Show. We don't care about that. Maybe he gave his life over to Jesus and he had a come to Jesus moment. All right, let's focus, y'all.
And I'm frustrated about that because you don't get understanding through frustration and hate. And I think that what I feel guilty about is knowing that there's an obligation to a whole other half.
You know what the craziest thing ever is for a woman to sit there and tell you that she hates half the country. And I said this yesterday. And I said, you hate, because that's a strong word, and she never took it back. She said she hates half the country because they voted for Trump. Now, for most of our lives, half the country votes for whatever your opposing candidate is. So half the country is always going to be split. So anytime that you run for politics, which is one of the reasons why I always was wondering, hey, Trump must truly want the best for this country if he's running for president of the United States of America, because he had everything. Everybody loved him. Everybody held him down. Everybody supported him. Everybody was rocking with him. Everybody was friends with him, including Joy on The View. And to create a situation where you have to have the whole country, half of the country is going to be divided against you when you run for president of the United States of America, you got to truly be a patriot to create that type of situation if you're not a lifetime politician. But it's weird because then you'll say, well, I hate half the country that didn't vote the way that I voted. But is that only because you lost? And would you still hate half the country if you won? Because then that means that you're just a hateful person. That means you're just a hateful person. If you hate half the country because of the way that they voted, it didn't matter who won or who lost, you're a hateful person because you still have to hate half of the country, even if your candidate had won. And it's weird because it's like, did y'all not see the interview that she did back to her supporters where she was basically drunk in Hawaii? That's still up on her YouTube channel. Crazy, man.
You know, of the country and feeling like there has to be a conversation, you know, a come to Jesus, as they say, with so many people because we are really not on the same page. And I am at a loss at this point for how to get there. And so I think you guys know I'm fiercely competitive over all kinds of ridiculous things. But what I really don't like to do is I don't mind saying I don't know. I don't mind admitting I don't know. I hate not knowing for an extended period of time and feeling like the overwhelm of I don't know where to turn to find the answer, right? Like, I don't even know if at this point people will be honest about their reasons for voting for the other side or if they'll be honest about who they really voted for because they probably know us or have seen us and wouldn't feel comfortable telling us the truth. So where do you go to solve an I don't know when you're not even confident that people will be honest with you? You know what I mean? And it's like the weight of that. We were in our group chat earlier, and I'm sorry if I'm flailing. I'm trying to make sense. We were in our group chat earlier.
This hotel room
and by
crazy.
the way, group chats are now triggering to me because I feel like
did y'all see all of that blood on that pillow? I couldn't help myself. Y'all keep talking about it in the Millionaire Derailment show that I had to go and deep dive to figure out what the heck I had reported on a couple years ago because I was trying to figure out what's going on. This hotel room is crazy. I'm trying to focus and I can't focus. She over here with tears in her eyes, but look at the company that she keep. Jesus.
When are we just another echo chamber where we're in our own bubble because now we're all getting off Twitter because now Twitter is going to be the hellscape. And now who are we going to talk to beyond our bubbles because we all think at least similar, maybe not the same, but similar. Anyway, I digress. My point is.
I don't even look at them the same. I don't even look at him the same no more, dog. You had a whole wife and a family and you was in a hotel room with all of that?
We all think at least similar, maybe not the same, but similar. Anyway.
Nah, dog. This is not where I anticipated for this story to go.
I digress. My point is, we were in a group chat earlier, and there's this conversation about if my Rainbow Coalition essentially is a thing.
Is he
like,
still
are
married?
we going to all be able to come together as people of color and do the damn thing? And the conversation was like, no, I don't think it's a thing. And I can't lose that hope. Like, if we lose that hope, we don't have a path, y'all. Like, we really don't. If we cannot figure out how to be in coalition,
I'm not screen sharing
in
that.
solidarity on multiple challenges, on multiple fronts, for multiple policy issues, we are f***ed.
Yeah.
We are. Like, there's not a nice way for me to say, Dad, sorry, I had to cuss it. There's no other way for me to explain it. We are if there's no coalition.
See, and this substantiates what people like Molly in the chat and everybody else that's in the chat kind of says, and I've been saying this on Monday night. Aside from Angela Rye's hate-filled rant that she's on right now, this, honestly, just being Tash, honest to God, what have I been saying on Monday nights? What have I been saying on the Millionaire Morning Show? What have I been saying on the Anton Daniels channel? What have I been saying on After Hours? I've been saying the same thing across the board. And you know what I've been saying? Men that then look to women for leadership is built different. Men that look to women for leadership are built differently. Men that voted for Kamala Harris, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I genuinely, honest to God, don't trust them. It is a weird thing for me to think about. And now, you know, when I see this on this podcast, and now y'all, the chat done ruined me. The chat then absolutely destroyed and ruined my whole perspective about what life is supposed to be now. Y'all ruined me. Y'all ruined me because now you substantiating what I anticipated and what I absolutely believed in the first place. Men that look to women for leadership. I don't care how intelligent they sound. I don't care what office they ran for. It just be like, like, I understand it if you 20, 23, 24, 25, even 28, even 30, because you still trying to divest yourself from an environment in a space. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Almond milk hot chocolate. Meow. Come here. Meow. Y'all want to see Catwoman? I'm about to show y'all Catwoman real quick. Watch this. Look at Catwoman. Meow. Go ahead. Walk away. All right, cool. Got all kind of fitness goals up in here. You know what? Let me go ahead and reach out to my trainer. We're going to have a session today. We're going to have a workout session because he over there Catwomaning it up. Women over 40 that's fit, they just do something for me. Women over 40 that have it together, that is well put together, that look like somebody care about them. Women over 40 that have it together, that look like somebody care about them, they just do something different. You know what I'm saying? Got the Coke bottle shape, Betty Boop hair. Over 40. Women over 40 that got it together, y'all do something for me. You do something for me. And then gonna come in talking about, here's an almond milk hot chocolate for you. You trying to get a new car today, I guess, huh? Woo! Here's a hot chocolate almond milk for you. Okay. Women over 40 that are well put together is something different. And I love them when they chocolate. When you chocolate, when you milk chocolate, meow. I see you. You got your Rolex on today? Hey, you know what's so funny? And don't worry. I love all women. I think that all women are dope. But you know what's so funny? Women, every single time that I go viral, when I'm holding a woman accountable, they always say, he must be married to a white woman. If I was, it wouldn't make no difference. There's something about that chocolate. That chocolate. You know what I'm saying? White teeth. Happy Friday, AD and Peeps. Question for you. Is it possible to use some money from an investment earning to help pay off debts faster? Yes. I think that paying off debts faster is absolutely. You're removing basically the interest that you're paying on the debts. And so I don't see that as a wrong thing at all. At all. That's fine. That's not a problem. Yoshi504 says they don't want the truth. They want to be coddled and live in their bubble. I hope the Overton windows help keep shifting back to keeps shifting back to sanity. Yes, he got sassy juice seeping out of his pores. Y'all crazy. Stop y'all messing up my workout. J Dub says she on the podcast with a man busted for switch hitting in the wrong uniform with a wife at home. Is he still married? Podcast should be called Redemption. Angela Rye didn't get paid. This is why she is so upset. She needs to reevaluate her views. Alpha Eskimo says, always remember, fellas, a woman's tears are only sincere when she is alone. Don't fall for the waterworks. She just wants attention. That's a fair assessment. AD, can you give a shout out to my one and only Destiny and her Frenchie Bruce? Every time I watch you at home, she says, you watching Milk Dud again? You want me to give a shout out? Oh, man. Okay, I'll take that. Yo, shout out to Destiny and her Frenchie Bruce. Captain Skidmark says, AD, what is it that the Angelas and the Charlemagnes want? I've never seen them put out a policy list. They just whine. Attention and money. Win or lose, hate is a strong word to use. It is. It is a very strong word to use. She ain't been right since Common. Instead of having a come to Jesus moment, he was, y'all so wild for that. She looking for attention. Ricky gave her a shoulder to cry on. See you Dems in 15 years. Meanwhile, you have pole smokers like this guy representing 11 black men. How can he look his kids in the eyes and justify the dirty deeds that is above my head? Fair to say this entire topic is talk about it. We just gonna move on. I lost a bad chick the other day, Kelly Rolling Fine. We got in the car and one of your Kamala videos popped up over my Bluetooth. I blame you. Was she there for a good time or a long time? Because there's a difference. There's a difference, Aaron L. Jay Denoir says it's Black Friday and Mrs. Rita Daniels ain't playing. She got on Black Panther outfit. Man, let me change my avatar to the Black Panther. But then you'll have these little dusty 20-year-olds that look like a bag of bricks sit there and talk about, yeah, is he even married? I've been married for a long time, baby. I've been married for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, my granny called Anton Millionaire Morning Man. Anyways, y'all ready to continue on with the show? We got other things that we got to get to, okay? What we got going on next? Oh, okay, deportation. I haven't given y'all in a few days updates on what's going on with Texas, and I'm going to be reading the Cash App shortly, so I see y'all. I'm going to get to those. I haven't given y'all an update lately about what's been going on with Texas and deportation and migration into this country outside of what's been happening with the tariffs. So we know that Trump is saying they didn't even do it yet. All he said was, listen, I'm going to put some tariffs on Canada and Mexico and China because y'all out here trying to throw off what we got going on inside of the United States of America. Trying to throw off what we got going on. Now, as of yesterday, when we reported yesterday, the Mexican president said, all right, let me go ahead and get Trump on the phone. I know Biden is in office, but we're going to talk to Trump from now on. Let me get Trump on the phone and help him to understand how we're going to go ahead and stem the flow of migrants that's flowing into the United States of America. We're going to have a further conversation about China, but we're going to have to stem the flow into what we got going on. Okay? So, this is the latest update, including a new border wall that is being constructed in Texas. In addition to that, over almost 1,500 acres are being proposed to use as a deportation facility that is being volunteered by Texas. Check it out.
The state of Texas is building a wall and possibly a deportation facility along the border. And KSAT is in Starr County today getting a closer look.
Stephania Jimenez was there as the Texas General Land Office Commissioner announced the new plans and said the state is ready to help the incoming Trump administration with deportations if the president wants it.
You can hear part of that construction going on right now behind me. Parts of the border wall along Stark County being built. The Trump administration hasn't yet said, though, whether it's going to take the Texas General Land Office up on its offer to use this facility to house undocumented migrants before deporting them.
A facility here will be the final stop for processing.
That's Texas Land Commissioner Dawn Buckingham, who also announced the General Land Office will buy more property along the border.
The new project that the General Land Office is going to embark in that I have created is the Jocelyn Initiative, in which we will locate appropriate land under my jurisdiction to lease for the construction of violent criminal deportation facilities.
The Jocelyn Initiative is in honor of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungaray, whose body was found in a creek in Houston over the summer. Investigators say she was killed by two undocumented immigrants from Venezuela. The victim's mother, Alexis Nungaray, spoke during today's news conference.
My goal is to get justice for Jocelyn, but to make a change for every other child in this state, in this nation, to not have any more families go through what me and my family are going through.
I will tell you that this woman probably was one of the people that helped derail Kamala Harris's campaign, because even when Kamala Harris was on Fox News with Bret Baier, he forced her to acknowledge Laken Riley and Jocelyn and all of these people that ultimately got killed by illegal migrants that was over into this country. And so now, essentially, I believe that this woman is, and I mean, you can never really truly get justice for your child, getting killed for something that could have been prevented in the first place. But, I would think that this is a step in the right direction, and the fact that they already are building walls and construction and making sure that they hold Mexico accountable and eliminating this illegal migration into the country, I absolutely think this is a great thing.
Commissioner Buckingham says it will take a month for crews to extend the wall another mile, which is within the ranch's 2-square-mile property. The GLO gave us a tour of the land, which is mostly farmland and comes up to the Rio Grande. Congressman Chip Roy says the GLO's actions prove that Texas will work with the president-elect to carry out his deportation plan.
The point is, Texas is going to work with the administration to do what needs to be done. That's the message.
We asked Commissioner Dawn Buckingham what the Texas General Land Office is planning to do with the land in the event that the incoming Trump administration doesn't take them up on their offer. Well, they say that they're going to continue to extend this wall because either way, they want this land to be used as a barrier to keep undocumented immigrants from coming into the country. In Stark County, Stefania Jimenez.
What is the opposing side's argument against making sure that we protect our borders? Anybody? Because, I look to the chat to give me some insight. What is if you're on the liberal side and because just because you're liberal don't mean that you don't want safe borders. Let me give make sure that I separate y'all, because it's not everybody. It's only a small demographic of people, I would imagine. What is the liberal argument against strong borders? If you are a person that is on the opposing side and you then say, you know what, we believe that our border should be completely open and that we should not vet people that come into this country and they should not be able to come over here legally, what would be the liberal view or the opposing view to making sure that we have strong borders and the people that come over here are supposed to be here, and that we basically eliminate cartels and people that are human trafficking people over here and profiting off of the fact that we do have open borders, and they basically taking advantage of the American system? Okay, so for example, Journey Under the Sun says they think immigrants are good for jobs. Cool. I have no problem with that. But why can't they come over here legally? And what does that have to do with coming over here illegally? Let's say, for example, that they are good for jobs, or in Keyshawn White's conversation, he said cheap labor. So does that mean that you should not be vetted and that anybody should just be able to come over here anytime that they want to? Because it still doesn't support the argument. You still should have to come over here legally. If you are saying that they are filling these positions and these jobs that ultimately most Americans don't want to do. Okay, so let's take that at face value, because I don't 100% agree with that anyway. But let's take that at face value. Does that still mean that you should not be able to come over here legally, and that you shouldn't go through the process of being vetted to make sure that we're not letting criminals inside of the United States of America? Vetting costs money. Crime costs money. Jailing people costs money. Police officers cost money. Deportation costs money. Arresting people and then holding them in jail facilities and then having to have judges and saying that we need to employ more people and more judges costs money. Listen, you're going to pay way more money on the back end dealing with the repercussions of a problem than to proactively make sure the right people get in here. That is a bad, horrible argument. You cannot even quantify the amount of money that we've spent on the illegal migration into this country over the last 4 years. This is Tom Homan appearing on Fox News speaking about the media and how they are basically, the liberal media and how they're basically making things worse when it comes to making sure that we get things in order in the United States of America. Check it out.
Well, incoming border czar Tom Homan tells us that he has been the target of death threats since taking on, accepting the new role under President-elect Trump. He joins us now. Tom, couple of things. Not had the chance to congratulate you on your appointment, your nomination. So my heartfelt congratulations to you. Second of all, I'm so sorry to hear that you and your family are going through this. What's your preliminary response to hearing that it's not unique to you? Other senior incoming officials are also facing threats today.
Well, first of all, I appreciate what Nicole just said, but I'll be honest with you, I have not taken it serious up to this point. Now that I know what's happening in the last 24 hours, I will take it a little more serious. But look, I've been dealing with this when I was the ICE director in the first administration. I had numerous death threats. I had a security detail with me all the time. Even after I retired, the death threats continued. And even after I retired as the ICE director, I had U.S. Marshals protection for a long time to protect me and my family. And what doesn't help is all the negative press around the president and people he's putting in his cabinet. Me, I'm not in the cabinet, but, I've read numerous hit pieces on me. I'm a racist and, I'm the father of family separation, all this other stuff. So the hate media doesn't help at all, because there are some nuts out there that will take advantage. So that doesn't help. And I thought we're beyond that after the election's over, that we're going to get beyond that. But I will now start taking a little more serious after I just heard what's happened the last 24 hours. Up to that point, I was the attitude that if I'm not home, my family's not home. And they're not home right now, but when I return home, I'm going to bring them home. But I was of the attitude lately that if you want some, come get some. Because, I've been through this many, many times. And but again, what I've learned today, I'll start taking a little more serious.
If you want some, come get some. If you want some, come get some. Wasn't that a Sierra song or something like that? A Sierra hook? If you want some, come get some. If you want some, come get some. You need people like this. You have to have people like this. Why do you have to have people like this? Because most of these type of people, they go uncelebrated. They go uncelebrated. Like, you don't know what they're dealing with, and they still human, and they got to go home, but they still got to do their job to protect the American people. So often at times, they get the bad end of the stick from people that they're basically protecting. They're protecting you and your daughter and your kids against illegal migration and people coming into this country that's not supposed to be here, and then you hate them for it. You hate them for it. And so now his family got to be upended. He got to protect himself. And he came out of retirement because he just truly wanted the best for America. And he's basically saying that the liberal media is feeding into this narrative that makes things much more dangerous for him and his family.
That there's a role you can play once you're in position and come January 20th. Do you think there's a role that you can play with your leadership and seniority in the second term of President Trump's administration that can help to sort of bring an end to these kinds of threats that we've been seeing now, as you mentioned, against Republican officials and Democratic officials?
Well, I think the first role is not to be intimidated. I'm not going to be intimidated by these people.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to silence me. Look, I'm going to do this job. I want to do this job because it's an issue of national security. So you're not going to shut me up. I'm not going away, and I'm going to do this job, and I'm going to continue talking to the American people why it needs to be done. I think under the Trump administration, I think we're going to be very transparent because the big issue, right, securing the border and doing this deportation operation. We're going to be very transparent. We're going to tell the American people exactly what we're doing, how we're doing it. So we're going to control the narrative, and we're going to educate the American people why this is necessary. You can't, on the heels of a historic illegal immigration crisis where 9 out of 10 of these people enter the country illegally will end up with an order removal because they simply don't qualify for asylum. There has to be a big deportation operation. That's the laws of this country. And if we go through this whole process and 9 out of 10 get an order removal from a judge and we don't remove them, you're never going to fix the border because we'll send a whole message to the whole world. You can enter the states illegally, it's a crime. You can even go to court and not go to court and get an order removal from a federal judge and you don't leave, and we're not going to make you leave. You're never going to solve the crisis on the border, and it's just not about illegal immigration. When you overwhelm the Border Patrol like they've been overwhelmed for the last 4 years, that's when the fentanyl comes in to kill 250,000 Americans. That's why sex trafficking is up 600%. That's why we have a record number of people on terrorist watch lists crossing the border. That's why you got 31% of women getting sexually assaulted making that journey. Children dying the border almost every night. So it's important that we be very transparent in what President Trump's going to do. We're going to secure the border. We're going to have a deportation operation, and we're going to work really hard to find those 300,000 children. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to tell that story.
Do you think it makes a difference, Tom, if, and this is not confirmed, the FBI is not sharing anything publicly right now about the source of these threats, who is making them? So we don't know if they were coming from domestic actors, foreign actors, but I talked with Trey earlier in the show about how Iran is being investigated and prosecuted now for threats against the incoming president's life. Will it make a difference, do you think, to how the U.S. government responds to these threats if they are coming from Americans or foreigners?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's our duty. I think we need to do that. I haven't received this level of threats in the last few days myself. So I'm shocked at what happened in the last 24 hours. Again, I haven't received that level of threat, but I think the government, if they find out it's coming from a foreign nation, of course we got to respond to them. This isn't acceptable for Republican or Democrat. I mean, no one that serves their country should be under threat. I mean, this is the second time I come back from retirement because I'm a border guy. The border's out of control. This is the biggest national security threat in our nation's history. So the president asked me to serve. I'm going to serve with pride and dignity. So I think we need to have a strong response once they find out who's behind all this. Absolutely, it's illegal to threaten someone's life, and we need to follow through with that.
And they should be jailed. They should be held accountable. They should be jailed. They should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And nobody is above. You can't make threats against the person that's trying to do the best thing for you. You shouldn't be making threats to people in the first place. But you can make threats against these type of people. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to move over into possible departments, including the IRS, that could be downsized or updated based off of Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency. Shout out to Frank White, said it's over for court. I'm free. New beginnings. Shout out to Frank White. Molly, what up, Molly? Molly in the build. Molly, don't be doing that for Rita. Heck no. Don't be doing that for Rita. What up, Molly in the building? That's on Cash App. Thank you to everybody that's holding us down. He definitely came, not to Jesus, maybe Jesus. Free Thinker Fat 13 says we need the gun line at the border crisis. Green Monster says, I don't agree with it, but I've heard from liberals it's wrong to block people from trying to come in and make a better life for themselves. Yeah, okay. Let them come into your house and then see what happens. AD, I got mad. Respect for you. Most black people don't use their own brain to think for themselves. I'm a man, black, who supported Trump and voted for Trump. Shout out to Black Hercules 85. Key or K says, good morning, AD. Bag Chaser here. I love to share my family's Black Friday specials, but I want to do it the right way. How may I connect with you the best way about it? what is the Black Friday specials, and what is a link for them to be able to support whatever it is that you got going on. Send it to me. Please shout out to Michaela Montgomery. She shut down some Democrats on a channel called Abundance Content Studios. I think the name of the podcast was Inside the Vault. Video only has like 2,000 views right now. I'll have to check that out. Okay, shout out to that boy Nietzsche. And shout out to my girl Michaela. Illegal migrants are taking skilled trade black jobs. Make sure whoever does the work is licensed, bonded, and insured. No shade trees, has high tolerance. Shout out to everybody that's a part of the platform. I appreciate you. Somebody in the chat put up Key. When Key put that information out there, or email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. antondaniels413@gmail.com. That would be awesome also. All right, y'all. Final thing that we want to talk about before we get up out of here is we want to make sure that we address this diversity, equity, and inclusion. All right. So a couple different articles that we want to go over. First, Elon Musk is targeting potentially 2 federal agencies in order to make sure that we save money and that they don't have a lot of overreach. Check it out.
Time for the hot topic of the hour. Tesla CEO and co-head of the new Department of Government Efficiency, Elon Musk, is calling for the elimination of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, writing on X, quote, delete CFPB. There are too many duplicative regulatory agencies. The CFPB was created as part of the 2010 Dodd-Frank Act after the financial crisis by Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren to oversee parts of the financial industry that interact with consumers. Some say the agency is highly politicized, damaging, and unaccountable. During Trump's first term, he took steps to neutralize this agency, easing its enforcement of the banks. Musk also is asking users on X if the IRS should be, quote, deleted after the agency said its enforcement fund is $20 billion short after budget cuts. Biden's Deputy Treasury Secretary urging Congress to, quote, pay up. You can see in that poll, over 60% of X users said they think the agency's budget should be deleted. John Lansky, your reaction to that. Let's start with the IRS.
Okay, the IRS could be run more efficiently without any question. Maybe their technology is dated. They could update in that sense and help save money and better serve the American people. I don't know about completely eliminating the IRS. What's going to take its place? My goodness. What are you going to have? Private tax collectors like they did back in biblical times? I think
what he's talking about is eliminating Elizabeth Warren.
Right.
We're talking about the CFPB. So, I mean, that's okay. Elizabeth Warren, she came to fame. She became, Miss TV darling, so she thinks, after the financial crisis. Remember this, okay? I remember this. But that's all she's been able to hang her hat on. That was the financial crisis was 2007, 2008. We have moved on. I don't think that she has. And I would argue that there's enough regulation on the books with the banking industry that you actually could eliminate that agency.
Best thing, in my 20-year career in government, I've seen this many, many times. And this is a very healthy discussion to have right now. Yeah. And what it does is it says to the existing agency, so how are you going to justify your existence? Sing for your supper. But then it also begs the other question. If you eliminated it, would you need to replace it? And that's really the zero-sum game that you have to take a look at. What are we going to do if we don't have this functionality? But to your point, Cheryl, this is an agency that has all of the regulatory responsibilities handled by other agencies. It's not like if this goes away, suddenly the U.S. consumer is going to walk into a bank and say, pay us 20% interest. No, that's not going to happen.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that this agency, and I see you inside of the chat saying that you're a loan officer and you deal with this on a regular basis, says Dre. Okay, so wait a minute. So the agency is an overseer of other agencies that already do what it is that they have to be done on the books. So then that means that they just a middleman. And this is one of the reasons that you need the Department of Government Efficiency, because why do you need an agency that has outdated technology overseeing a bunch of other agencies that are already mandated and overseen by the federal government? I don't understand. So they just in there to be in there, and they taking up resources, and we just giving jobs to people that is basically stealing from taxpayers.
Mike is making a great point. What he's speaking about is redundancy in the federal government. When we have redundancy in the private sector and corporations, what happens? Certain departments, jobs get eliminated. And maybe there is room for a lot of cutting as far as agencies are concerned and individuals.
Well, I mean, look, again, I got to go back to this Elizabeth Warren thing because her entire political mantra has been greedy corporate. She's gone after the banking sector for nearly 20 years now. And I think that Musk makes a great point that maybe time is up for her. Now, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget is trying to help DOJ make cuts. They say the federal deficit could be slashed by $1.4 trillion over the next decade by reversing some of President Biden's executive actions. Now, their report notes, unlike most reduction measures, reversing costly executive actions would not require congressional action, true, and could be done through the rulemaking process.
Yeah, that's the first thing that Biden did as soon as he got into office in 2020 when, Trump was removed from office. The first thing that he did is he rolled back all of the executive actions that Trump had took. And then the next thing he said was, we're not going to build another inch of border wall while I'm in office. That's the first thing that they did that they said that Biden did is as soon as he got into office is that he rolled back all of the executive actions of Trump, which is one of the reasons why our borders were so wide open immediately right after Biden took office, yet we still had a pandemic on our hands. And they were more concerned with making sure that you took the jab than they were on protecting our borders that ultimately made our cities unsafe. You don't need them. That is absolutely true.
CRFB says up to $550 billion can be saved by eliminating Biden's plans to forgive student loan debt, including the Save Income-Driven Repayment Program, which could save up to $275 billion alone.
That means that guess what? No more free handouts. If you go in and you decide that you wanted to take out student loans and party on campus and get an African American studies degree, guess what? You're going to have to pay that back. Yes, you are. You are going to have to pay it back. If you went on campus and you took out student loans and you didn't get a STEM degree and you took out more than you really needed and you decided that you wanted to go and get some Gerbos and some Timberlands back in my day, that's what we used to go and get, some Gerbos. Some people ain't familiar with that. Now we only rocking Levi's, hopefully not the boot cut ones. And you wanted to party and you wanted to go to Tech World and the Afro Tech and you want to get an African American Studies degree or an underwater basket weaving degree, guess what? You have to be responsible for that. That is not the taxpayer's responsibility to do that. It's not the taxpayer's responsibility. Nope.
$385 billion could be saved by targeting Biden's health care executive actions, $180 billion by reversing changes to the SNAP food stamp program, $150 billion from gutting vehicle carbon emission rules. That's a long list, John Lonsky.
That is a long list, and unfortunately, you're probably going to get some opposition because there are people that are benefiting from these regulations. Okay, they're benefiting from this spending. They don't want to give it up.
As in private businesses and industry?
Yeah, the auto industry has perhaps spent something like $120 billion on investments in being able to produce EVs and the batteries that go into electric vehicles. They're not going to want to write off $120 billion all that quickly. So
the EV mandates, though, no one has bought electric cars. The consumers rejected it. The EV mandates are just nothing but, I think, just government handouts and you know who's not benefiting from that? Elon Musk, of all people.
Yeah, he's going ahead and he's pushing for the elimination of the subsidies that buyers of electric vehicles get. So you can't say that he's doing this for his own benefit. That's important to note. He's trying to help the United States out and maybe.
So let's pivot for a second because Elon Musk is also saying, now this could probably be a little bit more controversial, that the F-35 program, and I'm sure that some of my military people and my Air Force people can give me even more insight on this, that the F-35 program is a money pit and that it probably needs to be eliminated and that fighter jets are basically obsolete, especially now that we have drone technology. Check it out.
In a move that could shake up U.S. defense spending, Elon Musk is targeting the military's most expensive weapons program, the F-35 fighter jet, calling it the worst military value for money in history. As head of Trump's new Department of Government Efficiency, Musk is aiming to slash $2 trillion in federal spending, and defense contractors appear to be in.
Prince, hold on, before we get into this, let me address this really quickly. Prince Warring Angel says, you love that part when people struggle. What part? What part when he said people struggle? Is that for me, Prince? Prince, let me know. What exactly do you mean by that? And please capitalize and then put a proper periods and commas so that I can understand, so that I don't misread. Because sometimes I'll give y'all that I misread what people are trying to say or what their intention is. And maybe they talking about somebody on the screen, or they talking to somebody in the chat. Give me some insight, Prince Warring Angel, because I like to interact with the chat. It is Friday, we on our last story, and so I want to make sure that I give y'all the proper acknowledgement. Prince, what do you mean by you love that part when people struggle? Please give me a little bit of clarification. And if you want to call in, let me know and I'll drop the link in the chat just for you.
His crosshairs. In a post on X, Musk argued that manned fighter jets are outdated, inefficient, and dangerous in modern warfare, saying drones are the future. Musk posted a video showing a swarm of drones in action, commenting, meanwhile, some idiots are still building manned fighter jets like the F-35. He went on to say the F-35 design was broken at the requirements level because it was required to be too many things to too many people. This made it an expensive, complex jack of all trades, master of none. Success was never in the set of possible outcomes. And manned fighter jets are obsolete. In the age of drones anyway, we'll just get pilots killed. The F-35 program has long faced criticism over efficiency. It's $180 billion over budget, more than a decade behind schedule, and struggles with reliability, according to...
Alan, if you want to call in also, you're more than welcome to do so. Let me know. Prince and Alan. Prince and Alan. Let me know if y'all interested in having a quick conversation. Not long, just a quick conversation, because I want to understand you guys. I want to understand exactly what you mean by that, okay?
Government reports. Yet over 1,000 F-35s have been delivered, and in training simulations, they've achieved a 20-to-1 kill ratio against enemy aircraft. Still, the program is expected to top a staggering $1 trillion in total costs.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Cost per unit includes maintenance costs, risk to human life, scalability, and operational flexibility.
In comparison, an F-35 costs anywhere from $80 million to $135 million per jet, depending on model, while small drones, like the ones being mass-produced in Ukraine, cost as little as $10,000. Drones can operate in swarms, guided by artificial intelligence, and don't put pilots' lives at risk. The U.S. program currently relies on expensive Predator drones, costing about $12 million. But much cheaper drones are being made by Turkey, Iran, and China. Even on the higher end, one of Ukraine's newly developed missile drones costs less than $1 million.
How come Alan and Prince ain't in the chat no more? Where did they go? Why did they all of a sudden stop typing? Alan and Prince, are y'all in the chat? You don't have to come up on the on camera. Y'all don't have to come up on camera. Why y'all stop typing? We cool. I don't have no problems. Here, let me put this in there for y'all. There y'all go. Just in case y'all wanted to explain it to me. I put it in there for Alan and Prince alone.
While Musk's comments led to a 3% drop in Lockheed Martin's stock price, some experts argue the F-35 is too big to fail. In 2021, Air Force Chief of Staff General Charles Brown Jr. stated the F-35 was nowhere near a failure, saying the F-35 is the cornerstone of our tactical aircraft capability. But it's worth noting this statement was a clarification to Brown's previous statement, indicating the F-35 has a more narrow range of abilities on the modern battlefield.
Listen, we can go through all of the technical capabilities and all of that. Really, this just comes down to, I think that this personally, and I have to be objective here, this, even though it's an egregious amount of money, and I always just believe that they can find savings instead of just randomly spending $1 trillion every single year on a program. This comes back down to national safety versus government efficiency. And so this is one of the things, one of the departments that I think that we have to be a little bit more mindful, and you can't just cut out. Now, if you're talking about different departments that's doing redundancies and a bunch of lunch ladies that's in there coming in talking about they don't want to work and they don't want to come into the office, they just want to work from home, and they're going to overregulate things. And that's one conversation that I think that is easy, that is low-hanging fruit. Where's Alan and Prince? Don't worry, I'm gonna drop it back in there just in case y'all forgot. That's an easy low-hanging fruit. But when you're talking about military spending, and I think that there could be some efficiencies in military spending, and we talk about, replacing the F-35 with drone programs, I think that that's something that we have to mine out. I don't think that that's just something that you could just cut out immediately. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be a little bit more careful with that. I'm not willing to just 100% cut out the manufacturing of certain aircraft just off of a tweet. I understand that that's the way that we communicate. I'm not willing to just kill that just off of the tweet. You know what I'm saying? So Alan and Trent, that link is still in there. Don't be cowards. Don't be weak. Don't be cowards. Like, don't. And again, I shouldn't have to be like, oh, I'm not going to scare you and all of this stuff. Don't be a coward. Like, when you say something, explain it, because I didn't even say that you were wrong or you were right. I just said, hey, come up and help me to understand where I could be corrected, because I want insight too. I look for and I yearn for understanding. I want correction. I would love for you guys to be able to come up here and say, hey, Anton, this is where you need to look at things differently. Like, don't be a coward. Don't be so scared of another grown man. Just come up and explain, and I'm going to meet you with whatever the energy is that you have. If you come up here and you say, hey, Anton, hey, listen, this is why you off on this. I'm going to say, okay, well, let me listen to you. Let me listen to you. Don't stop typing all of a sudden. Don't turn off your computer. I'm going to read a few of these super chats. I'm going to see if y'all going to come up. Let me drop that link in there one more time. I hate it when people act scary. Shut up. They ain't no at no work. Get out of here. It's Black Friday. Where you work at? I'm at work on Thanksgiving. Okay. Right. Anyways, let me read some of these super chats. And I could tell. I know what the type of dudes that those are. The ones that voted for Kamala Harris. AR says a CFPB is not funded via Congress. They get their funding through the Federal Reserve. Shout out to AR. I appreciate you. Let me see. Mr. Joe says, thankful for your platforms. God bless. Key says, that's incredible. Just sent it over via email for the official email. Thank you for support. Truly a blessing, and it means a lot. All right, so I'm going to read that email, and I'm going to see if I can find out if it's something that we can promote on Monday. As soon as I pull up, is Smoke. Better thank you. A union member, Prince and Allen. Well, no, it's not Smoke. We just want to get a better understanding. High Tolerance says Shining Star Alternative Learning Center must have let Prince the Warring Angel. Come on, y'all. Y'all got to stop being that. The Jabot label placement was genius. Yeah, I love Jabot. Shadow Dragon TV says, Eric Prince, founder of Blackwater, talks about this on Fox News. He talks about a lot of the U.S. military equipment and leadership are both outdated. Okay, I think that's worth having a conversation for. Let me see. I see we. Are you Prince or the Warring Angel? We. You muted. You muted, we. We. Look like you're frozen back there. You muted and you're frozen. You there? You muted and you frozen, big dog. I'm going to wait because it looks like he dropped off. He might have got a phone call or something like that. I'm going to wait and see if I can get him to come back up. Give me a second. What do y'all have up to this weekend? I will be streaming tonight, and then I got to go down to the studio and see what the progress is and things like that. Let me put it back up there again just in case he wants to call back in a minute. I'll give you a couple minutes to be able to get yourself together and call back in. What do y'all got up this weekend? What's the word? Y'all partying? Y'all getting yourselves in trouble? Full drinking and half thinking says peace and bliss, bro. Stay the course. Love the work and the content. Happy holidays from FDNHT to y'all. Shout out to Full Drinking and Half Thinking in the building. I appreciate you, big dog. I'm gonna have some new sounds and some drops going into the new year too. I still don't see anything. I thought I seen somebody that said we in the back, but apparently dropped off. Y'all grocery shopping, watching Block Club to get caught up. I can ask my question again. Warring Angel, come on up, big dog. I just dropped the link in the chat. You working, Rayshawn? Went crazy partying Wednesday. All right, now, so let's go in. All right, I'm going to see if I can pull him up. Can you hear me?
Yo, y'all can hear you.
All right, which one are you? Are you Alan or are you Warring?
Nah, I'm none of them. I'm not on camera, right?
No, you're not on camera.
All right, bet. So what I'm
Wait, are
saying
you
is
one
like,
of those two?
nah, I'm not none of them. But I'm letting you know how the F-35 works.
Oh, okay. So give me some insight on the F-35. All right, that'd be great.
All right, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I asked you. Make sure my face is not on camera. None of
No,
that.
you're not on camera. I wouldn't do that to you.
All right, cool. So bet. So the military got 3 versions of it. So the Air Force, they have one that is like strictly for land. The Navy got the other one for sea. That's always on a ship.
Okay.
And then the Marine Corps, they have the vertical one that could like basically move like a helicopter in some sense.
So essentially, it's the same plane but modified for
But
different
modify
uses.
exactly. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm good.
So
So
how
that's
do
what I'm
they
saying.
work?
So when he
Go ahead.
say like it's kind of obsolete, it's like I want to say yes, it burns a lot of money for taxpayers if you really think about it, because that thing burns a lot of gas.
Mm-hmm.
It burns a lot of fuel, but it's like every one is specific to a specific reason.
Mm.
It's like even though yes, the same jet, but they're modified for 3 different branches.
Do you think that drone technology should replace the F-35 personally?
I mean, personally, we already doing it with like drones already. What the military has, like bigger drones, but you still got to look at it too. Like you still a drone is not going to do everything because you can't leave 100% of computer to run everything. If you really think about it like that. But at the same time, we also use 100% of technology at the same time, because look at your car. You're probably going to do lane assist and all of that. So we
Oh
still
man, when I get in my
trust.
car, honestly, I don't even drive no more. It drives me to my place.
Exactly, because I
Crazy.
mean, look, that's what I'm saying. Because I have a buddy that has a BMW. He's like, yeah, I don't park it anymore. I just press and it just parks itself.
Yep. You can summon it and
Yeah.
everything.
But I do understand where he's coming from, though, when you really look at it and you think about it, like, hey, it does burn a lot of money into taxpayers' pockets, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. that who's working like within that program, it burns a lot of money. But what they have to understand is like, just like with everything, just like when, remember how when Teslas just came out, everything was expensive, and then as the years goes by, it start getting getting cheaper and cheaper for
Yeah.
everybody else.
Well, how
Yeah,
long
so
has
I
the
mean,
F-35 program been in existence? I mean, I don't know if you know that much about it, but
I want to say it has been around since around 2014, 2015, and then like the first official one came out around, I want to say 2017, 2016, somewhere about
so this
there.
has been less than 10 years.
Yeah. But like now it's like starting to be like mass produced now.
Mm. Yeah, I'm
Because
not
now
so sure
these
that I
other
actually
countries
want it to
are
go.
buying them.
I'm not so sure about that part.
Yeah.
I don't know if we just completely kill it. I don't know if we just completely kill that program with something like that. I'm not necessarily a fan of saying, "Oh no, we're just gonna kill the F-35 program." I don't know about that. I think that that's something
No,
that we
because
would have to do a deeper dive in a conversation on.
yeah, because if you look into it, right? Um, how would I say it? When it just came out, each F-35 cost about 150 mil. Now each one, I want to say now each one costs anywhere between 115. So, and if I'm wrong, you could look it up on Google.
No,
But I'm
I'm just
sure it's
going. We
some.
just having a conversation. I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
Well, I know
I'm sure it's
you out in the field,
somewhere
right?
around there. Yeah, yeah, because I work on them almost every day.
Do you really?
Yeah, yeah,
How you like it? How you like the job?
yeah. I'm telling you, it's a lot of electronics. I can tell you that.
Really?
Yo, that when I say that the technology is advanced, it is really advanced.
What do you have to do to be able to get into something like that? So for a person that ultimately gets assigned to work on something like that, what is
You
the?
just gotta make sure like you got your secret clearance, and then once you have your secret clearance, and then if you want to move up to like higher stuff with that, you got to get your top secret clearance, and then like, because there's a lot of stuff you can't say and do. That's why I'm like, yo, make sure you don't put me on camera for that part.
Yeah. I would never do that, big dog.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like it's just it's a lot of stuff that you have to, that it's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and then there's a lot of different paperwork you got to sign, like, hey, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? But the base is just, I mean, it's I would say it's very, how would I say it now, it's a lot of stress, but at the same time, once it's done and you see it flying and you see it does what it's supposed to do, it's like, hey, it's a really advanced, because I've worked on legacy or older aircraft before, and they don't have the type of technology that this thing has.
All right, that's what's up. Well, I don't want to keep you
Yeah.
on too long because I don't want you to. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
want to keep you
I'm just chilling
anonymous.
at home with the family and listening. That's why when I heard that, I was like, let me chime in, because and then I see everybody in the chat like, yo, he disappeared. So I'm like, let me come back real quick.
All right, thank you, man. Hey, man, stay in touch, bro, because I got questions,
I
but
will, bro. I
I
will.
want to make sure that I keep you as anonymous as possible because I don't want you messing up nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, bet.
All right, then,
Okay,
bro.
big dog.
Keep on doing what you're doing. I'm
Hey,
listening
I got a
out.
question. Somebody said this in the
Yeah.
chat. Just give me a yes
hmm
or no.
Yeah.
Somebody said, AD, tell him to cough twice if alien tech is real.
let's leave that alone.
All right, bet. Okay, all right. I'm gonna talk to you later, big dog.
All right, bro.
All right, bye. Are you Alan or Angel?
Either.
Okay. Do you
Oh, you're able to.
support their sentiment?
Oh no, So I just want to give a follow up to what old boy just said about
Oh,
the
okay. So
aircraft.
you
So
got
the
some more
reason
insight.
why
All right,
they
cool.
want to cut. So the reason why they want to cut them is because only 10% of them are operational. So all the ones that they're actually building, only 10% of all out of all of them are operational. So that's what they're fighting. It's like y'all building these, but they're not even operational. They was fighting this in Congress, I believe, like a couple of weeks ago. So that's what the fight is over. It's not the fact that they're just trying to replace them with drones. They do want to replace them with drones because they're just more efficient. But also too, it's like because I believe it's Boeing that's making them. So there's like y'all are making them, and then also too the way that they're making them, they're not making them correctly. So it's like y'all using up all this money, y'all not correctly making them, and then they're not even operational. So what are we spending all this money for? Also, too, with the CFPB, there's no oversight with them. So that's another reason with the CFPB. What they've been doing is being debanking people just off your political views. So there's nobody actually regulating it except for Elizabeth Warren. That's her own department that she created that they wasn't talking about. I believe Mark Warrenson was talking about this on Joe Rogan the other day, because there's just people like, if you're in the I believe like the tech industry, if you're in the crypto industry, a lot of these things against the bank, they're using the bank to debank these people. And that's where they're trying to fight them as well. So it's a lot of stuff that a lot of people are not talking about. But that's one of the things that had came up with the CFPB.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you for the extra insight.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, my friend. See, this is why I love y'all. This is why I like doing this show. This is why I like having a chat as my co-host. Because anytime I don't know something or I start to get a little bit more curious about certain things, I can always ask you guys and be able to source through the information that y'all are giving me so I can make more informed decisions, all right? So thank y'all for continuing to rock with me. Thank y'all for continuing to hold me down. Let me read a couple more super chats. I see Alan and Angel. They said, we not going to have no conversation with you. We don't want to talk to you, and that's cool. Freedom of choice, right? You have the choice to do what you want to do with your own body. Yeah, the military is outdated, but we also need to get the rainbow unicorn mafia out of the armed forces. Night J says, my twin sons are 12 today, pizza and gaming. Shout out to the twin sons. Happy birthday to y'all. Mama loves y'all. And then the Green Monster says, working this weekend, chasing the bag. You know, Anton ain't missed nothing. We all in the same boat, big dog. Shout out to the Green Monster. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to hold me down, and thank y'all for continuing to be a part of the Millionaire Morning Show. We got after hours tonight, and then y'all gonna have a whole weekend to yourself. So let's make tonight the best night ever. Make sure y'all subscribe to this channel. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon on the 1st, and then make sure y'all get y'all tickets to come and see me December 14th in Detroit. It's gonna be awesome. All of that information is pinned to the top of the chat as well as in the chat. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Alan and Angel.